Hey, what's up? This is Delio coming to you another video, and this is the review of the Auto-Tune Vocal EQ. This is a new plugin that was released by Antares, and the thing that is different about this EQ versus all the other EQs in the ecosystem is that this one has a little bit of the Antares tuning DNA built into it, which enables the EQs to move along with the pitch of your vocals. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at some of the features and dive right in. So you see that we have a bunch of nodes here. You got your high pass and your low pass, so that's automatic. You do get a spectrum analyzer right there, and you can bring things down. So like say if I turn that up and turn that down there, you can turn it on and off there, just like that. And I can just bring it up and down right there. So we got high and low pass filters right there. Turn it up and turn it down. Make it really sharp. You can change your frequencies right there and make it really sharp. You can really have fun with it right there and do that. And so, a lot of times when you're dealing with vocals, you don't really have to have the high pass turned on. You can leave it open. Let the low frequency right there. I already high pass my vocals anyway coming into tape, but that's always good right there to have. So that's the fundamental frequency right there. So maybe I want to do a little bit of de-essing. And we can see that the sibilance is happening right around 8K. And, as I dive in, it's easy to just listen and work with this. But you see you got like about 6 nodes right here that you can move up and down. And each one of these nodes has gain. You can sweep the frequency up on it all the way up and down. You can make it a shelf. You can kind of make it a bell curve. You can adjust a Q to it. You got gain. You also have compression on it. So this is also multi-band compression. So in this case, I'm listening to the vocals. The energy was around 8K. So maybe I want to de-ess that a little bit. But before I do that, they also have something interesting, which I like. It's called air. And what air does, air works like in the realm beyond what we can hear. So if I bring that up here, you can still hear. So let's hear a difference without air and with air. Let's see if I can bring that in. When we kiss. And as you can see, even though I'm boosting beyond the hearing range, there's like harmonics that affect the regular range. When we kiss. Bring a little bit of air up in there. I'm going to exaggerate a little bit right there. When we kiss. And maybe I want to do a little bit of a threshold right there, so I can bring that range down. And as you can see, when I add a little bit of threshold on there, you can bring that down just like that. When we kiss, when we kiss, and then I can really focus in on that, pull a little bit of a cue on that. And, gain it up or gain it down. Now, what's interesting is to say if I want to shift the whole thing, all I got to do is click this X, and it'll change the whole axis of that. And you can just do all kinds of weird stuff with that EQ, which is really fun. When we kiss. And you can activate it by clicking on the numbers right there. And, the interesting thing about this is that you can do a lot of different effects on here. You have a bunch of comb filters and a lot of different things, and this also works for instruments too as well. And as you can see, there's a bunch of different nodes on there. As like I said before, it's an EQ, and so it's very hard for me to like say, oh wow, it's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But I really want to talk about this because what I like is how there's another feature where it tracks the voice right there. So when we kiss. So let's say I want to duck that down just a little bit because I got like a nasally voice in my vocals. So I can bring that down and let the gain be brought down a little bit as well. But there's also the there's also the pitch tracking feature as well. So when I click on track, look what happens to this node. When we kiss. So if I want that fundamental to be up here, and when it's on tracking, it'll find that fundamental. So if I want on the first fundamental of my voice or the second, it's going to go to those fundamental harmonics and EQ those as the vocal is changing. You're hearing the fundamental change. Now you can make all these notes. So like, let's put that on tracking. Let's put that on the A fundamental. And it's moving right there. So maybe I want that fundamental to be on the 10th. When we kiss. And it's moving right with it. And then again, you can shift this up and shift it down. When we kiss, yeah. So the interesting thing about this is that you can go really creative with it. And this is also great too if you want instant RTA analysis. I know in this version of Studio One, I'm running a late version of Studio One, but the RTA on it, like say in the fat channel, is not there. Like I normally use a fat channel where I record, so I got that EQ popping right there. But I really don't use much because I really do a good job going tape in it with it sounding the way I want. So I don't really bother with that much. But this can be an interesting tool in case I want to do instant phone sound, or if I want to get really into my vocals, add air and things of that nature. A different way of adding air versus other ways. And I think it's a pretty cool plugin. And, you know, you can really get in and cut what you want, and then to have the nodes track the vocals adds more power and flexibility to what you're doing to make that vocal sound as good as possible. So it's a really cool plugin right there. So you got pitch track EQ. You can automatically determine the input type so it can tell that's alto tenor. You got multi-band compression because each one of these 6 bands of EQ has a compressor, and it also has gain right there. And I just crashed a little bit, but don't worry. I have to edit it out. So you have different 6 notes right there where you can add and bring things down, which is pretty cool. And, you know, you have an RTA. So you can hear and see, which is really cool because when I DS, I oftentimes just sort of use my ears and I think I'm hitting the mark, but this right here shows me right where that sibilant energy is at. And so when I have that sibilant energy showing in RTA, I can move that de-esser plugin to mess on that frequency or to affect that frequency that is in the S's, which in my case, according to this RTA, it's around 8K, and I was missing about 2,000K because normally when I DS, I'm around 6,000 to 5,000, but I'm just using my ears. I hear a difference. It sounds good in the car. There's always ways and room to grow and learn and do better. So this is a great tool, a great way to reference your frequencies while you're mixing your songs, dealing with vocals or instruments or anything like that. You don't have to just use vocals for this. You could probably use this for other instruments too as well. There's really no rule as far as telling you, oh, you can't use this plugin on instruments just because it's called a vocal EQ. So if you like this type of content, let me know in the comments below. Let me know about this plugin. Do you think it's something useful for your toolkit? Or are you just going to stick to the plugins that you already use? I'm also promoting a listening party. So if you got tracks, you make music yourself, you got music video, I'm inviting you to come out and join my listening party. We're doing this again June 29th of 2022 from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. We're going to have limited slots available. Ask more people to see about this and come through. But I'd like you to come through and just check it out, catch a vibe, and also check out the Discord too as well. So link in the description below. Stay tuned for that. I hope you like this type of content. I'm Dilio, and you're watching Dilio T2K.